Airing our views here on the Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV Channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app at the respective app stores for iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure you rate and leave a comment. Both apps are absolutely free. Zingo TV is available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and also on all smart TVs 2016 forward. Now joining me on Candid Frank Live is Aaron William Freeland. Aaron, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, Frank. How are you?
Well, the big story for us is the Toronto Argonauts are going to the Grey Cup.
Yeah, fantastic game. A little bit chilly, but that's funny to be expected come the middle of November. But yeah.
And those Montreal fans brought those damn horns with them, the ones that are illegal in BMO and in the CFL.
Which is interesting. I find it interesting how they actually managed to get those in.
Yeah, it affords a certain advantage where one person can make the noise of maybe 15, 20, right? So it gives a false sense of representation.
The good news is that the rest of us were actually loud enough for the most part to drown them out, so that's fine.
And I think the most important thing is the players basically said you can take that horn
and shove it.
Anyway,
it was actually a really, really good game. It's been
Excellent
5 years since the last time MBT was in the finals. The last time he was there as a backup to Hall of Famer Ricky Ray. That was the 27-24 upset victory at Ottawa's TD Place, which was a game many of us will not soon forget. Glad to see that.
I was in the stands. I saw what it was like to sit there. It was
especially with that snow coming down.
I was there in my suit jacket. I ran down to go visit friends, and I went down they were in the front row, and I sat there with them for about 15, 20 minutes. I sat on the stairs, and before I knew it, I had snow about that thick on my head. I looked like it looked like an eraser on my head. And yeah, they were they were shoveling the yard lines. That's how much snow was falling and how quickly. They couldn't keep up with it. So they just went with, okay, let's just make sure they can see the yard lines. And yeah, it was cold and wet. It was snow that was kind of wet and heavy. It was a wonderful day. And you're talking about, I'll change gears back to follow up on what you were saying. You're talking about the Toronto Argonauts. Well, in 2012, the Toronto Argos won the Grey Cup, and Shoeless Joe's used to accommodate all the team and the fans to eat together, break bread together. And we got to know Caleros and Harris. They were the backup quarterbacks for Ricky Ray and the 2012 Argonauts. And the Argos just beat Trevor Harris, and now they need to beat Zach Caleros. And you said it. And then the other thing is, McLeod Bethel Thompson was the backup in 2017. So 2012 plus 5 equals 2017 plus 5 equals 2022. So every 5 years, the Argos win the Grey Cup. They're due. Don't say that to ICAT fans. They'll be very upset because they've been waiting this century, and it seems like forever.
Wow, if patterns are anything to go by, every 5 years seems about right. So we'll see if MBT can pull it off against Zach.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the Bombers beat the Lions. The look on the kid's face said it all.
Yeah, Nathan Rourke really wanted this one badly, but I think they all kind of acknowledged that they weren't going to beat Caleros. Winnipeg is just too powerful. They're built right. They're built for this sort of thing, So toppling them would have been very, very difficult. Now, Caleros did leave the game with a leg injury in the final 2 minutes, but he says that he's going to be able to start he's going to be able to start in Regina. So we'll see what comes to pass with that. Yeah, No, you know what? He was 20 for 37 for 299 yards, including a 14-yard TD pass. That's a great showing by a first-year quarterback. So very glad to see that Rourke's been doing well so far, and that he has recovered as much as he has.
Yeah, he looked good he looked good.
Yeah.
He looked pretty mobile. When it comes to Zach Collaros in the Grey Cup, if he has an ankle injury or lower leg injury or whatever, um, his mobility is one of his strengths. If he doesn't have that, he becomes McLeod Bethel Thompson.
This is sad but true.
Now, the one thing that McLeod does and did in this game, and he's been doing, he's not been thinking as much as he's been executing. He's not hanging on to the ball that much, if you notice. Hike, toss, hike, toss, hike, toss, hike, toss, hike, toss. The time between him getting the ball in his hands and it being released is very short now. And it seems to be working. And if he keeps doing that, what it does is it helps the offensive line, who don't have to deal with a constant barrage of defensive linemen, chasing their quarterback. So he looked really good. And I'm sorry about the pun, but the joke. But in actuality, Collaros has a little better reputation for running around the pocket than McLeod. And if he can't run around the pocket, then they're basically on an even footing. And I think that McLeod has a better arm than Zach Collaros. Zach has an accurate arm. He has the ability to finesse a ball into the hands of a receiver. But I think what we're seeing from McLeod is that his accuracy is starting to improve, and the ability to pass the ball with some zip on it, making it harder for the defender. So two things happen against the defense of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers if McLeod does what he's been doing, what it looks like he's doing, getting rid of the ball quickly and throwing the ball fast. Makes it hard for the DBs to get to, and he moves the ball quick enough that the DBs are maybe not even knowing where he's going to throw it in time for him to take advantage. So the Argos have a good shot in this game. What do you think?
Oh, they definitely do. And again, like you've mentioned a lot of the key points here already, but you are looking at the difference between precision and power, and cutting down what the MBT's done. And you're right. I've noticed this over the course of the past couple of weeks is he's drastically cut down around the amount of time he spends looking around for open options. This is also because there's a certain amount of trust that he has in his receivers to get open for him. And they've been able to do that. A lot of the times in the past when he's had issues completing passes, it's not the receiver's fault. It's his fault from waiting too long to get rid of the ball.
Right. And
You'll
making
see the receiver
passes.
there. Yeah.
You'll pass the ball. Yeah. No. Well, I got to say, it's going to be a great, great cup. Looking forward to being there. We'll do some shows from there. We'll hook up. You and I will hook up. We'll talk about the Grey Cup. We'll get David in here. David can't come to the Grey Cup, so we've got a kid in Marcus who's a real bright mind when it comes to. We're going to try and get Marcus in. Oh, which reminds me, I got to call him to talk about the Canadian Football League, talk about the Toronto Argonauts, and it's going to be fun. The other football, the one that most people in the world recognize as football, we like to call it here in North America, we like to call it soccer, and they have a very special event that's starting this month, and it is the World Cup, the 2022 version, which, by the way, includes Canada.
Yes, so for the first time since 1986, Canada is going to be making an appearance. The hope is that this time around we'll do better than the last time when we didn't score a point in the original play-ins. So we'll have some friends that'll actually be in attendance in Qatar. So that'll be interesting to see. But on the World Cup front, if you are getting your bets locked in, Morocco's Amine Harat is set to miss the finals with a late knee injury, so he's gone. Also, the Ghanaian squad will be missing Jojo Wallacott, who's been ruled out after a finger injury. He was injured in the warm-up for a League One match in Burton on Saturday, and has been left out of the Black Stars squad for Qatar. As for Amine Harat,
used to be a number one.
Used to be a number one.
Then he broke his finger. No, go ahead.
Now, Harit was actually stretchered off the pitch just before the 60-minute mark during Marseille's 3-2 win at Monaco in League One on Sunday. So that's certainly something that's going to impede their national squad's chances, but it's something to keep in mind.
Montreal in hockey in the NHL did what the Leafs couldn't do. That's beat Pittsburgh. It took overtime.
This was one of those really weird, really fast back and forth games. They did actually need the Habs actually needed to play a little bit of catch up on Saturday in order to get their third straight win. But Hoffman got the winner just over a minute into overtime. Was catching the game at a local establishment after watching the Toronto Rock play their exhibition game. It's against the Colorado Mammoth on Saturday, and that was entertaining. Montreal jumped out early, but had to fight all the way back.
Well, the Philly Flyers had their old captain drop by playing for the Senators. He had a good game on his return to Philadelphia wearing a different jersey.
For the first time in 14 years. But he actually got 2 assists as the Ottawa Senators snapped a 7-game winless streak by beating the Flyers 4-1. He got a standing ovation when he got there, which was awesome. But he also said it was a little uncomfortable because he says he gets awkward with standing ovations.
Yeah, like I said, the Leafs lost to the Penguins.
Yeah, wasn't good. They did not play well at all. McGinn got the late goal to put them up, and it's one of those. They lost, but at least they didn't look too bad losing. Which is, small comfort for those of us Leaf fans out there that they didn't look as bad losing a game as they did. But they did manage to turn it around on Saturday night against the Canucks. This is the Leafs' fourth or fifth back-to-back series so far this season. I'm not sure what's up with the scheduling gods, but they don't like us. And Jordy Ben, call up from the Marlies, actually came in to score the third goal. So that was great.
Yeah, the malaise that the Leafs have felt at the goaltender position is moving out to defense now. We have they have number 78 is out, and goodness knows when he's coming back. But even worse, Jake Muzzin is now will be reevaluated in February. In other words, he won't be ready before February.
No, he has been shelled on LTIR as per the Leafs PR account. He is suffering what they're calling a cervical spine injury. So that's one of those things that you need to take a lot of extra time with, and you need to be careful with if he wants to make a full recovery and play again, or if he wants to, maybe I don't want to be one of those that says he should just retire and give us the cap space, because that's not fair to him. He should at least have the ability to go out on his own terms. And unfortunately, I think this injury might be the straw that broke the camel's back for Jake Muzzin. It's unlikely at this point that he will be back anytime this season, but we'll hope for something positive in February for him.
Jordy provided some sandy paper and a goal.
Yeah, it was great to see. He's been putting in yeoman work with the Marlies on the back end. So to see him get back up and have an opportunity with the big team, even as we are getting severely reduced by injuries, it's still nice to see that he can still contribute.
Well, it appears the Flames can win. It took a loss by the Jets to do it.
So, the Flames have been on a 7-game skid. It hasn't been fun for fans in Calgary. Unfortunately, their pulling out wasn't good for fans in Winnipeg. Elias Lindholm and Adam Ruzicka each had a goal and an assist. Trevor Lewis also scored, and Rasmus Anderson had 2 assists for the Flames as well. Now, they'd been coming into this game on an 0-5-2 slide, which has not helped them. They started the season fantastic, got themselves a few points and banked themselves a little wiggle room. But Ruzicka was actually playing in his 3rd consecutive game after being a healthy scratch for 10 of the first 11 games. Glad to see that he's made it back into the lineup with Lindholm and Tyler Toffoli.
Let's talk about the Oilers. They're not gambling their soup. They're a little Skinner right now, and he's
Yep.
playing well. Helped the Oilers beat the Panthers.
Well, it was basically by the skin of their teeth that they
Yeah,
managed to pull
absolutely.
that one out over the Florida Panthers. Skinner actually had 40 saves in the 4-2 win. Uh, Tyson Bass scored twice. His second of the game came 4 seconds into a power play at 6:53 of the third period to give Edmonton the lead. So he scored the winning goal. Edmonton also got goals from Warren Foegele and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, while Sam Bennett scored twice for the Panthers. So the Oilers are going to head
Excellent.
home now with a split of their 4-game road trip after coming to South Florida with losses in 4 of their previous 5 games. Aaron Ekblad and Matthew Tkachuk were coming back to the Florida lineup, but Edmonton spoiled that. So vengeance again on the former Calgary player.
The Bruins riding through Canada and winning some games. They didn't beat the Leafs, but they seem to be able to handle everyone else.
Yeah, this is one of those instances where you were trying better. Patrice Bergeron got his 3rd goal in 2 days as they won their 4th straight, taking down the Canucks 5-2 on Sunday night. That's one of those rare Sunday night games. Now, Marchand also got his 5th goal in 8 games this season. Connor Clifton and Pavel Zacha also scored, and Thomas Nosek had an empty net goal with a $1.58 remaining as Boston finds itself on the right side of the ledger at 14-2-0 so far this season.
Let's go over to news, and we all know that there was a big issue this past year. The Emergencies Act was enacted, and now there's an inquiry because of it, and federal witnesses are beginning to testify for the first time.
Yeah, so this is the next stage in the whole inquiry process. We've heard from first responders, we heard from members of the convoy, we've heard from other concerns and individuals who filed police complaints. Now they're getting around to bringing in the government's representatives for this. So we'll be keeping an eye on if anything significant develops out of here. There has been some noise with regards to CSIS indicating that there was not actually an emergency, so that the EA was not required. Normally, the requirements for issuing or enacting the Emergencies Act is notification from CSIS that there are issues, but apparently that didn't happen.
On the same kind of plane, there's a test of the Canada's public alerting system. What's up with that, Aaron?
So on November 16th, there's going to be a public test message through Alert Ready, which is Canada's public alerting system. And it'll be issued in most provinces or territories over television, radio, and compatible wireless devices. Regular testing is really basically for public safety officials. It gives them an opportunity to validate and improve the effectiveness and reliability of Alert Ready. Also, folks, when this comes out on the 16th, this is not an excuse to call 911 to complain. I know there are some of you out there that like to do this sort of thing. Stop it. Okay?
Let's go to Ontario, and now there are concerns. The threat is being elevated of the virus and forms of it, like RSV is a big thing. The coronavirus still exists. In fact, they're considering we're on the precipice of a triple threat. Aaron, explain, please.
So what we're looking at here is basically there's COVID-19, influenza, and respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, contributing to extraordinary pressure on pediatric healthcare in Ontario. Unusually high numbers of children are coming into ERs for one or more of those 3, COVID, influenza, and RSV, and a lot of them require admission. Now, Dr. Moore was saying that Ontarians need to get back into using all different layers of protection, including screening daily for signs of illnesses and staying home if sick, practicing good hand hygiene, and regularly cleaning high-touch surfaces, as well as potentially wearing masks again. Now, they're not. This isn't something that they just bandy about. There's a reason for this. You should always be cleaning your hands. I don't know when, as a society, we decided that cleanliness was not required for that sort of thing. So that's one. Cleaning exposed surfaces in your house is also a no-brainer. Um, it's one of those. This is all common sense stuff. Masks don't lead to lockdowns. Pure and simple. Just do the right thing for yourselves and for other people. It's an inconvenience, sure, but my masks look awesome, so I'm going to continue to wear them. Other people should consider doing the same.
A few seconds on Elon Musk, who doesn't like people working from home.
Well, he's not a big fan of that. He's also not a fan of the whole free lunch thing. So you know, uh, they're basically saying each meal costs the company more than $400, to which an ex-employee pushed back, saying, "No, the meals are really $20 to $25 a day. I'm not sure where you're getting your numbers from." The interesting thing is he's been trying to put out disinformation on Twitter, and the Twitter actually has an auto check when it comes to fact finding, and it's been contradicting him in several posts. So it's been funny to see. But yeah, he believes that employees are stealing time because they're not commuting into work and being in the office that they pay to rent. So
Yeah, I'm not even going to bother to respond to it, Aaron. Thanks for doing this.
hey, appreciate it, Frank. Thanks for having me.
He's Aaron William Freeland. I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. Thank you for watching Candid Frank. Oh, sorry, Candid Frank Live. You can listen to Candid Frank Live and other shows on the Worldwide Radio Network. Other news and entertainment and sports programming is offered there as well. And you can check out SpanglishWorld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Ciao for now.